Are you a real estate agent trying to generate leads on Facebook? Then this video is for you. Before we start digging into nitty-gritty details of Facebook lead generation campaigns, let me cover a couple of doubts you might have about this platform. First of all, why Facebook? Then, is it still effective? And a lot of realtors say my leads are garbage. Let me cover all your doubts and let's get started. First of all, why Facebook? And to answer this question, let's take a look at the stats. In the US, only Facebook has 140 million users. Plus in Canada 28 million, which makes it the biggest social media platform in North America. And that's the biggest advantage of Facebook lead generation campaigns, because in real estate we need scale. We have to reach as many people as possible because anyone can be potentially buyer or seller. Is it still effective? Yes, it is effective, but it got more expensive because obviously more real estate agents got into the platform. They're competing for the same audiences, which means price goes up. So which means we have to spend more in order to reach the same number of customers as we did before, right? But yes, you can get X3, X4 return on your investment. But keep in mind, when I say 300%, 400%, I only mean long-term results. So don't expect to get X3 after 2 or 3 weeks of running lead generation campaigns. It's not gonna happen. And I don't have any magic solution how to make people call you after they're seeing your ads 1 or 2 times. You have to show your ads multiple times in 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks to reach customer and so they remember you. So keep in mind, we are talking about long-term results only. And third common concern, Facebook leads are garbage. They're not garbage, they're just cold. Those people, they saw your ad maybe a couple times, they autofill their Facebook lead form, maybe they just click on your website and even submitted a form, but still they are cold. They don't know who you are. So of course, don't expect them to convert right away. They might not pick up the phone the first time. So that's why we have a lot of nurturing in place. And digital marketing in general, it's a lot about nurturing. How do you follow up with customers in an engaging way, not just sending them the same emails over and over again. Then at some point they just ask you to stop doing that. Again, Facebook lead generation is about long-term results, and we have to put systems in place, and we'll talk about it in this video, how to follow up with customers at scale and how to make them convert. The last point before we get into nitty-gritty details of Facebook lead generation campaigns, tactics, nurturings, emails, text messages, creatives and ad copies, I want to set budget expectation, because that's also one of the key elements. And I see a lot of new real estate agents and seasoned real estate agents, they have wrong expectations about advertising budget. You have to allocate at least a few $1,000s for the next few months for Facebook advertising. It can be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, doesn't matter, but you have to allocate at least a few $1,000s towards your ads. Don't expect short-term results. It will be just a waste of your money. Again, luck happens, but we have to rely on solid strategy here. So that's why I'm not gonna give you any magic solution in this video. And if you don't have such budget, it's better to start with your organic efforts. So post something on Instagram, Facebook, prepare a good foundation, come up with a couple blog articles, and then eventually move into paid efforts. If you're okay with such budget for the next couple months, let's begin discussing tactics of Facebook lead generation campaigns. First step in our ad creation process is advertising strategy. And I see a lot of real estate agents fail because they don't have any strategy in mind. They just create any campaign, pour money in it, and don't get any return. Instead, I would like you to ask yourself a question: who is my ideal customer and what value I bring to the table? Answer will help you to define advertising strategy. Because in advertising targeting, everyone means target no one. Especially it is true for real estate because competition is super tough. So you have to differentiate yourself from a bunch of other realtors. So try to go as narrow as possible. For example, we have downsizers, upsizers, first-time home buyers. You can add on top of it a specific neighborhood. Upsizers, west side, first-time home buyers, condo downtown. And this way you come up with a better strategy. You target specific group of people, so it's easier for you to come up with ad creative, images, ad copy, text, You can come up with an offer. For example, you can offer them to conduct a webinar with where you can discuss some recent transactions, some pros and cons of specific neighborhood, how to find your dream home, and etc. Now we have target audience in mind, and we have an idea of an offer that we can hook our audience with. So we have to choose a campaign type on Facebook. Facebook has plenty of campaign types for every purpose, every business that is trying to advertise online. But for our real estate purposes, there are 3 campaign types that fit our needs: lead generation, traffic, and conversion campaigns. All of them are different and they serve different purpose. First, lead generation format, when campaign objective is leads. That's the most common format in the real estate industry because it provides us the cheapest leads possible. Sometimes it's even cheaper than $1. The advantage of this format is that users don't need to visit your website, they don't need to click anywhere, they stay on Facebook or Instagram, and they're able to fill your lead form or click on call now button or message right away in the chat. It's super user-friendly format because people don't want to spend an extra time learning about your offer. So if you're offering something simple, let's say it's a listing ad, maybe it's basic free home evaluation, which I don't suggest you to do. So if you have straightforward offer, then choose this format. Or if you're just a beginner who just want to launch your first ad and test the water, that would be the perfect format for you. And generally speaking, to create first potential pool of potential customers, that would be the right format to start with because you can test your offers. It's super cheap to generate pool of buyers or sellers, and it's easy to set up. The disadvantage of lead generation campaigns is quality of leads, that a lot of real estate agents claim that the quality is very low. This is partially true because you can imagine people put minimal efforts to reach out to business, right? It's just one click on Facebook or Instagram. So that's why when you try to call them back, lots of people, they say, hey, I haven't submitted the form, I don't know who you are, I'm not looking for any services, that sort of thing. That happens because you have to understand, they scroll through the feed and sometimes people do actually happen to click accidentally. Most cases it's not true, just because they lost their interest in services they click before. So that's why it's very important in lead generation campaigns, if you choose campaign objective, gather leads, contact information, call those potential customers, those leads almost right away. Try to call them within the first 5 minutes. So that's why a lot of real estate agents, a lot of brokerages, they set up ISA services, people who call those leads incoming from Facebook. Just because for you to understand the process, right? People scrolling through the feed, they see your offer, they click on it, and if you don't call within the first 5-10 minutes, then they just forget about it. Maybe they clicked to a couple other offers and it all mixed up in their head. Second campaign type, campaign objective, is conversion campaigns. The idea here is action isn't going to happen on your Facebook or Instagram page, but you have to redirect potential customers, users to your website or landing page, and then they have to consume some information and in most cases fill up a form or maybe click on call now button. So action happens on your website or landing page. Of course, this is more complicated format because you need to find people who are ready to commit more time. So they have to click, get redirected, they have to go through your website, right? And then they have to fill up the information. The advantage of this approach is, of course, you get more qualified customers, but cost per lead is way higher. So you filter more people. And of course, to optimize this campaign for better returns, you have to design really good looking landing page, or you have to have really good website, right? That brings them value. You won't get any return if you have average looking website because you will be wasting money on ads, people clicking on ad and they not going to perform any action. So it will be a total waste of your money. in comparison to lead generation campaigns, where at least you have some contact information. Here you just have clicks, which means nothing for your business. So it's a little bit more complicated and more expensive campaign type. A lot of real estate agents use conversion campaigns for pre-construction, where you have a landing page for your pre-construction project, you drive people there, and then you capture those interested in some incentives, or see floor plans, or book a consultation with you. And the third campaign type is trafficking campaigns, where the main idea is to drive people back to our website. Usually we use this format for our remarketing or branding campaigns for those people who already somehow interacted with our business. So whether they submitted a lead form through the lead generation campaigns, or maybe through the conversion campaigns, they visited our website and submitted a contact form there, or maybe they clicked on some button, but somehow they're already aware of our business, and we just need to remind about ourselves. And the best way to do so is trafficking campaigns. We use value-based creatives, so usually we drive them to a page with our blog posts, or with some download materials, or maybe we have or maybe we can drive them to our homepage, where we might have listings or some other valuable things for potential sellers or buyers. After choosing our campaign objective, campaign type, we have to set up our targeting. And in this case, Facebook limits us to only interest, because due to privacy policies, we cannot choose age, gender, income, and a bunch of other stuff that would be available to us otherwise. But interests are already a powerful tool. Facebook gathers a bunch of behavioral data across its properties, which is WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and a bunch of other websites, slice and dice it, and combine it in interests. So for our real estate campaigns, we can choose a couple interests to define our targeting a little bit better. I suggest you to use between 5 to 10 interests for every audience you create. For example, house hunting, first-time buyers, property finder, Zillow, property, real estate investing, or new house. Try to search for new audiences, because sometimes Facebook delete old ones, create new ones. So always try to be creative and just type different keywords, what you think would define your audience, and see how it works out. And of course, the last step is to choose a location. In this case, it's pretty basic, because most agents, they use minimum available radius, which is 15 mile. So you just pinpoint your city, and then there is a 15-mile radius around it. Of course, unless you have a huge team and you work for a brokerage and you want to target surrounding areas as well. The next step is to come up with a creative for your advertising campaign, which means image for your ad. The goal here is to catch people's attention, so they stop scrolling through the feed and they want to find out more, either read information or click on your link or whatever action you have in mind. If you don't have any ideas, go in Canva. They have a bunch of ready-to-go real estate templates that you can customize to your liking. You can change color, or you can change offer a little bit, or you can get some inspiration from the offer. But keep in mind that in the beginning, you set up a strategy for yourself, what sort of audience you target, what sort of offer you have in mind, and try to match your audience with the creative. If you have older audience, think about what type of people you can include in your image. If you're targeting, for example, downtown, maybe think of some skyscrapers in the background. That sort of thing. Try to be consistent with your branding, with colors that you use in your ad and the colors that you have on your website or specific landing page if you're doing any pre-construction ads, because it always improves your overall conversion rate when people see that you actually spend time on your ads, because your business will look more legitimate. Overall user experience is better than all other real estate agents. Ad copy, or in other words, text of your ad. In Facebook, it will be headline and primary text. Headline is what people see first, It's like a subject line in email and primary text that's your actually ad, where you have to expand on your offer. The system is always the same. It doesn't matter what offer you have, what idea for your ad. First, you mention a problem, a pain point of your potential customer, whether they're looking to buy a condo downtown, or they're searching, or they're struggling with something. So you call out the problem or pain point, then you give them a solution. You have unique condo, you have a unique construction project, or there is some limited incentives. And in the end, you provide them with a clear call to action. What are the next steps? So call me now, download, learn more, get free incentives till some certain date. So the system is always the same. Just keep in mind that your target audience, your image, and your ad copy, your text, all of them, they have to be consistent. Try to match the tone and voice of your ad with the audience that you are targeting, and of course with the creative that you have. All of it will improve in overall conversion rate of your ads. Lead form. That is something that only relevant to lead generation campaigns, that a form that appears when people click on your ad, where you ask some contact information. And the question here is how many questions you should ask users. I always suggest to start with bare minimum, so name, phone number, and email address. Maybe add what type of property you're planning to sell or buy, because it's always better to start with a broader audience, and then if you need to filter them, to pre-qualify them a little bit better, if you feel that traffic is not relevant, you're getting a lot of spammy people, then yes, add some additional questions. Your cost per lead will go up, but the quality should go up as well. It's always a good idea to start broad, to have cheap leads and work through them, see how it works out for your team. And if you need, you can always add additional questions and customize your ad. Nurturing, that's the step 90% agents skip in their real estate marketing game. We need to have system in place in order to follow up with people for the next 3 or 6 months, because real estate marketing funnel is long. We don't get people signed right away after showing them one ad, or after one call conversation, or after a couple emails. We need to have system in place. And this system consists of 2 elements. First is our remarketing campaigns, and second is our CRM. For the remarketing, the simplest way would be to create the trafficking campaign that we discussed earlier. So the idea here is to redirect people back to our website, learn a little bit more about our business. As a catch, you can use, for example, previous customer testimonials. You can use some value-based content. It can be a video, it can be some sneak peek of your blog post. It can be an offer to download some materials on your website. But the idea here is to have multiple creatives, multiple images or ads that speaks to different values that people can find on your website. So people don't get annoyed with the same type of ad that they see over and over again in the next 2 or 3 months. It shouldn't be just your face, because a lot of real estate agents, they use for a marketing campaign just one type of ad. Usually it's our team and story about you. It's a little bit boring, so try to mix it with some value-based content. Of course, the simplest way would be, a lot of real estate agents do seller guide, buyer guide. Try to come up with something else. Maybe it can be some market update that could be very valuable to your potential customer. And always try to be creative. We always suggest to use at least 5-6 different ads for your remarketing efforts. And then CRMs. For CRMs, I suggest you to have at least 20 emails in place to follow up with your leads. First week, you follow up with them 2 or 3 times. Then following week, you follow up 1 time. And then you can switch to bi-weekly schedule. But be ready to follow up with them in the next 5-6 months. So you have to remind about your business. Ideally, those have to be not generic emails. So again, it can be market updates. You can include the same update in your remarketing campaigns and in your emails. It can be some blog posts, but it has to be something unique. So spare some time on it and come up with some unique emails. 20 is not that much, because you already spent money and time on acquiring contact information. Now you have to leverage it. And emails are still very powerful tool to convert your potential customers into contracts, to make them your customers. In my opinion, a CRM for real estate purposes has to be very simple, and it should have just a couple of features. First, you need native integration with Facebook, because of course you don't want to spend extra money on Zapier, and of course you don't want to spend time on connecting your Facebook lead campaigns with your CRM, so your emails follow up with your potential customers. Then second feature, you need text messages, because sometimes it's just easier to text the potential customers from your CRM right away. You can include text messages in your email sequences. Sometimes it's also a good idea, not that often as emails, but for example, once in 2 months you can text message with some updates. Then it's a good idea to have landing pages. So if you need to customize some ready-to-go page for your webinar, for your pre-construction project, you can do it through the CRM interface. And the most important feature, you don't want to pay extra for additional users. So ideally, some CRMs, they provide unlimited number of contacts, or at least a huge number of contacts that you can store in it. Because in real estate, cost per lead is relatively cheap, and you spend a lot of time on converting those customers, so your database of contacts will grow very fast. In 1 year, you can grow a few thousand of contact informations, and you don't want to pay extra and expand on your subscription while you're doing that. So make sure you pay for some huge number of contacts that included in your subscription. You have at least landing pages, text messages, and email sequences. And of course, make sure the platform is user-friendly, because you don't want to spend time figuring out where to click. You just want to make things done as fast as possible. The last stage of ad creation is setting up your budget. I suggest you to allocate between $10 and $20 per campaign. It doesn't make sense to spend more than $30 for one listing ad or any sort of offer, because Facebook will start wasting your money. It just doesn't have enough inventory for a real estate agent, because anyways you are targeting just one city. Of course, if you are targeting province or state, you can increase your budget, but if you are targeting a city, it doesn't make sense to spend more than $30. So average ad spend per listing campaign or per any sort of offer would be $15. I suggest you to run campaign for at least 2 or 3 weeks. That way Facebook has enough time to go through the learning process, because first couple days Facebook gathers some behavioral data, see how customers, how users interact with your ads, and get the best possible Facebook users to interact with your campaign, so it can fetch potential customers, more relevant people to your ad. It takes time, so that's why first week, let's say you get through the learning process, and then next 2 weeks you gather the results. So in the end, you get the optimal conversion rate for your ads. And again, if you see that your ad is performing, and it doesn't mean you have to shut it down after 3 weeks, you can run it more unless you see the results start fading. That's totally fine. Some campaigns, video campaigns, we run for several months because they bring value to the people. People watch those videos, they click on a link, they visit website. We see those sessions are long on the website, so it's quite successful. But again, your average budget per day should be between $10 and $20. So let's say it would be $15 and no more than $30. If you want to spend more, you have to create another campaign. You have to come up with a different idea. So it would be appealing to a different target audience. It would be more relevant to different sort of people. To finalize my guide, I want to remind everyone that Facebook advertising isn't about short-term results. It's a long-term game. You have to allocate a few $1,000s and spend these dollars for the next few months to get your first client. It's totally normal. You will get return on your investment, but don't get discouraged by negative short-term results. It's a normal thing to have. It's a competitive industry, so you have to invest money to be seen. On top of your advertising efforts, I strongly suggest you to post organic content, videos, blog posts. You can use YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever you can. Everything will boost your organic presence, which ultimately leads to higher trust and credibility, and it will increase your conversion rate overall for all your ads. Bye for now, happy leads!